The year is 1955. You are standing in a cold, dusty apartment on the Upper West Side of New York City. The rent is cheap, the heating barely works, and inside, three young men are fighting over a bag of pasta because none of them can afford dinner. One of them works as a janitor, one moves furniture, the third sorts mail at the post office. By Hollywood standards, they are all losers. They are too short. They are too weird. One has a nose that looks like it was broken in a bar fight. Another looks like a nervous accountant. The third looks like a parking ticket given human form. Casting directors told them to go home. Agents would not take their calls. They were the guys you hired to play Store Clerk Number 2 or Dead Body in Alley. Their names were Dustin Hoffman, Gene Hackman, and Robert Duvall. We know what happened next. They didn't just become stars. They burned the golden age of Hollywood to the ground and built the new Hollywood in their own image. But while Hoffman became the anxious heart and Hackman became the tough guy, Robert Duvall became something scarier. He became the ghost in the machine. Today, we are looking at the 10 weirdest facts about the man who taught the Godfather how to do business. Because his resume doesn't just tell the story of a career, it tells the story of how power in Hollywood actually works. Fact number 1, he was the king of the roommates. To understand Robert Duvall, you have to rewind to that apartment. It sounds like a bad sitcom setup, but the dynamic between Duvall, Hackman, and Hoffman defined the next 50 years of cinema. They were competitive, jealous, and broke. The story goes that Duvall was the one who kept the peace, but he was also the one with the shortest fuse. They would sit on the floor, eating their boiled pasta, analyzing people they saw on the street. They weren't studying acting in the way the studios taught it, polished, transatlantic accents, perfect posture. They were studying the way a guy holds a cigarette when he knows he is about to get fired. They were studying desperation. Duvall studied at the neighborhood playhouse under the legendary Sanford Meisner, thanks to the GI Bill. He brought that intensity home. While Hoffman was neurotic and Hackman was volatile, Duvall was the observer. He was the one taking notes. That apartment was a pressure cooker of talent that the world wasn't ready for yet. And when the lid finally blew off in the late 60s, it wasn't the pretty boys like Robert Redford who defined the era. It was the three roommates who used to fight over who had to wash the dishes. Fact number 2, he wasn't an actor, he was a liability. There is a reason the Guinness Book of World Records once named him the most versatile actor in the world. But versatile is a polite word. A better word is obsessive. Most actors play a character. They put on the costume, say the lines, and go home to their mansion in Beverly Hills. Duvall treated acting like an undercover operation. When he prepared for a role, he didn't just learn the accent. He went to the place. He lived there. He ate the food. He annoyed the locals until he sounded exactly like them. It got to the point where directors stopped giving him notes. Francis Ford Coppola, who directed him in The Godfather, realized quickly that you don't tell Robert Duvall how to be a mob lawyer. You just point the camera at him and make sure you are recording. Fact number 3, the broken math of Apocalypse Now. Here is a math problem that should not exist. Apocalypse Now is a 3-hour movie. It is an epic about the Vietnam War. It stars Marlon Brando, who was paid millions. It stars Martin Sheen, who is on screen for almost the entire runtime. Robert Duvall is in the movie for approximately 12 minutes. 12 minutes. That is less time than it takes to watch this video. And yet, if you ask anyone on the street to quote Apocalypse Now, they do not quote Brando. They do not quote Sheen. They quote Lieutenant Colonel Bill Kilgore. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. In those 12 minutes, Duvall hijacked the entire film.
You know that gasoline smell? The whole hill. Smells like victory.
He walked through mortar fire without flinching, not because he was trying to look cool, but because he had decided his character believed he was invincible. That performance broke the economic model of Hollywood stardom. It proved that screen time does not equal impact. You can pay a star $5 million to be in every scene, or you can pay Robert Duvall to show up for a week and create a moment that will last for 50 years. Fact number 4, the walkaway. Hollywood gives actors 2 choices. You play the game or you get out. If a studio offers you the role of a lifetime in a guaranteed blockbuster, you say, thank you, and you sign the contract. Robert Duvall chose option 3. He burned the table. In 1990, Paramount Pictures was preparing The Godfather Part 3. They had Al Pacino back as Michael Corleone. They had Diane Keaton. They needed the consigliere. They needed Tom Hagen. Duvall asked what Pacino was getting paid. The number was massive. Then he looked at what they offered him. It was significantly less. Most actors would have complained, fired their agent, and then signed the deal anyway because you do not say no to The Godfather. Duvall said no. He told 60 Minutes years later, "If they paid Pacino twice what they paid me, that is fine."
This is the way it happened. If they offer somebody 5 times what they offer me, that's totally unacceptable. If they offered them 2 to 3 times more, which they didn't, that would be acceptable but not ideal, but I would accept it. But they didn't do that. If they offer 5 times, then that's unacceptable, and that's what happened. So it did boil down to economics.
So Pacino was going to get 5 times more?
Yes.
But not 3 or 4 times. He wasn't arguing about greed. He was arguing about market value. He knew that Tom Hagen was the glue holding that family together. He knew that without him, the movie would have a hole in the center of it. Fact number 5, the $5 million bet. By the late 1990s, studios were obsessed with teenagers, superheroes, and explosions. They did not want to make movies about aging preachers in the South. Duvall wrote a script called The Apostle. It was a passion project about a flawed, charismatic preacher running from the law. He took it to every studio in town. They all said the same thing. No, it's too religious. It's too weird. It's too slow. So, Robert Duvall did something that business managers tell you never to do. He opened his own checkbook. He put up $5 million of his own money to finance the film. He didn't just star in it, he wrote it and directed it. He bet his retirement fund on his own talent. If the movie flopped, he was out $5 million. The movie did not flop. The Apostle became a critical sensation. It earned him another Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. It made its money back and then some. Fact number 6, The Bloodline. Usually, when we talk about an actor playing American history, we mean they put on a wig. With Duvall, it is genetic. If you trace his family tree back, it starts to look less like a genealogy report and more like a history textbook. He is a direct descendant of Robert E. Lee, the Confederate general. Through his ancestor Maureen Duvall, he is related to President Harry Truman. He is related to President George Washington. And here is the kicker. He is also a distant cousin of President Barack Obama. He is genetically connected to the man who founded the country, the man who tried to split the country in half, and the first black president of the country. Fact number 7, the silent start. Before the shouting matches in Network, before the napalm in Apocalypse Now, there was silence. His first major movie role was in 1962. The film was To Kill a Mockingbird. The role was Arthur Boo Radley. He has almost no lines. For the entire movie, he is a shadow, a rumor, a monster living down the street. And when he finally steps out from behind the door to save the children, he doesn't give a speech. He just stands there. He leans against the wall, pale, shaking, terrified, and heartbreakingly human. Playwright Horton Foote, who knew Duvall from New York, told the producers, "I know a guy who can do this." Fact number 8, the Tango obsession. You think you know him. You think cowboy, soldier, mobster, Texan. Then you find out he spent his free time in Argentina dancing the tango until 3 in the morning. This wasn't a hobby. This was a second life. Duvall fell so in love with the tango that he traveled to Buenos Aires constantly. He married an Argentine woman. He directed a movie called Assassination Tango, which is exactly what it sounds like, a hitman who loves to dance. He helped fund a charity for children in northern Argentina. Fact number 9, the Hannibal that almost was. Somewhere in a parallel universe, Anthony Hopkins did not play Hannibal Lecter. Robert Duvall did. When The Silence of the Lambs was being cast, Duvall was a top choice for the role of the cannibal doctor. He considered it. He read the script. Imagine that for a second. Anthony Hopkins played Lecter with a theatrical, creepy flair. He blinked at the wrong times. He hissed. Duvall would have played him differently. He would have played him like a quiet, reasonable grandfather who just happened to eat people. He would have played him with that terrifying stillness from The Godfather. Ultimately, the role went to Hopkins, and history was made. But it is fascinating to think about the version we missed. The version where the monster wasn't a supervillain, but a guy who looked like your neighbor. Fact number 10. On February 15th, 2026, Robert Duvall died at the age of 95. He was the last survivor of a specific breed of American actor. The kind that didn't want to be loved, they just wanted to be believed.